Hello guys, it's Karen here, and guess what we're gonna do today? We're gonna talk about Anita Sarkeesian. If you don't know who she is, she has a degree on gender studies and runs a YouTube channel called Feminist Frequency, where she uploads educational content about sexism, misogynism, and objectification of women in video games. Yes, you heard me correctly, in video games. She is the force behind such titles as Damsel in Distress, Miss Male Character, Women as Background Decoration, and get this, her newest video, Strategic Butt Coverings. Oh, yeah, it sounds like she's got this covered, right? You know, for a woman who talks so much about video games, it's surprising that she doesn't actually play them. In fact, she said she dislikes video games altogether.
So it's not exactly a fandom. I'm not a fan of video games. I actually had to learn a lot about video games in the process of making this.
Well, in my opinion, just the fact that she is not a gamer decreases the value of her arguments. Saying, I don't play video games, but I think they're sexist, sounds about as idiotic to me as, I don't follow the news, but I think Obama's sexist. A lot of people have seen through her poor and vague argumentation, so I'll link some of my favorite videos in the description. In this video, I'm going to share my own personal opinion of Anita Sarkeesian and my view on the gaming industry in general. For more serious content, refer to the links in the description. So, what I'm going to do now is react to some clips from Anita's videos, and let's start with the first one.
Of course, the damsel in distress predates the invention of video games by several thousand years. The trope can be traced back to ancient Greek mythology with the tale of Perseus. According to the myth, Andromeda is about to be devoured by a sea monster after being chained naked to a rock as human sacrifice. Perseus slays the beast, rescues the princess, and then claims her as his wife.
Okay, so she said it herself. The trope damsel in distress has existed for thousands of years, even before video games became a thing. So why is it so wrong to use this same plot device that we see in movies and TV shows? It's a plot device. It's just that. It is there to move the plot forward. And for it being a damsel, it's fucking fantasy. It's fantasy, Anita. It's just that. Who is the target of big video game companies? Well, of course, there are many people who play video games who are of different gender and age. Still, the majority of them are men. It only makes sense. You said it yourself. It's existed for thousands of years, and it works. As a plot device, why should we change that? And what is so wrong with that? If someone is in need to be saved, it doesn't matter who they are. If you have the power to help them, then why the fuck wouldn't you? Like, are you gonna just be a dickhead and be like, oh, that, just some random woman or man or child or someone I don't know. Yeah, fuck them. I'm not gonna do anything about it.
The formula for most shorts would involve Popeye rescuing a kidnapped olive oil.
About the Popeye short, if you look at the characters, the woman, arguably, she is very skinny. She has a very light figure. And it doesn't seem like she has much muscle mass whatsoever. And this man who is pursuing her is freaking big. He's huge. He's a fucking mountain. And he just grabs her like nothing. What can she do? What can she do? I mean, I'm a woman, so I have no problem saying this, but women, compared to men, are fucking weak. We can't stand a chance against a man if a man the size of the freaking guy in Popeye decides to assault a woman, she's not gonna do anything. They just see how easily he picked her up. First of all, it is not unnatural for a woman to have a skinny, light body that is smaller than a man's. So of course, women, as a gender, we are weaker than men. Physically. We're physically weaker than most men we come across. And that is a fact. For films and movies and video games to use that fact as a plot device or as a characteristic for some characters, I don't know why it's a problem. If you were in that situation, wouldn't you be asking for help too, Anita? I'm pretty sure you would.
The brief intro sequence accompanying many classic arcade games tends to reinforce the framing of women as a possession that's been stolen from the protagonist.
Okay, are you fucking kidding me? Women as a possession that's being stolen? I mean, the only one here that claims that these women are the property of the main characters is you, Anita. I mean, it's not like these men are walking around and holding the women within a leash or something. Like they're their dogs or their pets or their property. What if they're their friends, their loved ones, their sisters, their family? They don't own them. What is going on inside your head, Anita? What is this shit? What is this shit? Their property? Are you kidding me?
At its heart, the damsel trope is not really about women at all. She simply becomes the central object in a competition between men, at least in its traditional incarnations. I've heard it said that in the game of patriarchy, women are not the opposing team, they are the ball.
I'm sorry, in the game of patriarchy? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Continue, Anita. Continue.
The trope quickly became the go-to motivational hook for developers, as it provided an easy way to tap into adolescent male power fantasies, in order to sell more games to young straight boys and men.
There it is. The power fantasy for straight boys and men. That is all that this trope is. Why does it have to be for straight males only? I mean, I've played Super Mario, but I'm not in that demographic, so I don't know, who fucked up here? But that is exactly what it is. It is a power fantasy. It is a fantasy that, oh, someone needs my help, I have to go save them. And like, you're made to feel powerful and awesome, because in real life, there are no princesses needed to be saved from like giant fucking vampire dudes or the Bowser or whatever. It is a power fantasy. It is just fantasy. And I don't see why this is a problem.
Remember, the damsel in distress's plot device is something that happens to a female character, and not necessarily something a character is from start to finish. Once in a while, she might be given the opportunity to have a slightly more active role in facilitating the hero's quest, typically by opening doors, giving hints, power-ups, and other helpful items. I call this variant on the theme the helpful damsel.
So you just came up with your own definition. So if this female character doesn't fill up all the necessary tropes that the damsel in distress should have, then you just call her the helpful damsel. I mean, you just can't get the idea of a damsel in distress out of your head, even if the female character you're speaking about is not a damsel in distress. I mean, do you even know the story of Zelda? I mean, personally, I haven't played any of the Legend of Zelda games. I'm sorry, guys, I haven't. But I am familiar with her character. And from what I've seen, is that she is super important when it comes to the story. And she actually has her own abilities, and she is a strong and amazing female character that, like, Anita, you said it yourself, she helps Link, and she does all this amazing stuff. And you just can't help but call her a helpful damsel. Us as gamers, we don't see women as objects in video games. Anita, you do.
In Ocarina of Time, Zelda avoids capture for the first 3/4 of the game. Disguised as Sheik, she is a helpful and active participant in the adventure, and she's shown to be more than capable. However, as soon as she transforms back into her more stereotypically feminine form of Princess Zelda, she's captured within 3 minutes. Literally 3 minutes. I timed it.
You timed it that she was taken hostage in less than 3 minutes. Do you know why? Because she was smart enough to be disguised as a man or someone else than herself, because she knew that she was gonna get kidnapped, because it is just what happens to her. And it has nothing to do with her being feminine. It has everything to do with their enemies being stupid as fuck.
Similarly, in The Wind Waker, Tetra is a feisty and impressive young pirate captain. But as soon as she's revealed to be and transformed into her more stereotypically feminine form of Princess Zelda, she's told that she's no longer allowed to accompany Link on the adventure because it's suddenly too dangerous for her.
Because she is the princess. She is important. She is an important political figure. And they didn't know that it was her because she was wearing a disguise before, okay? And as soon as they find out, I mean, the entire existence of their freaking kingdom is in danger if Zelda leaves for an adventure and doesn't come back. If she dies, she could fucking die. It's fucking dangerous. And I'm not saying that she would not be capable. Of course she would. She's amazing. She could do anything. Like, I'm pretty sure that she wouldn't just go like, oh, I'm a girl. I can't go. I'm so sorry, guys. I mean, she wants to be a part of the adventure, but it's too dangerous for her. And that is where I think, like, it's her own fault if she feels bad about it, because she is the princess. Do you know what a princess is? I'm pretty sure you know by now what a princess is. Like, I'm not talking about a damsel in distress princess. I'm talking about an actual fucking princess. She can't... How do you fail to see this? As soon as they find out that, oh my god, our entire future might be in danger, if our princess dies, then we have no one to lead the fucking kingdom if she dies. So of course they're gonna tell her no. I mean, I don't know if, like, she's a fucking kid in this game or what, because I haven't played this game. But even I, who haven't played this game, know better than you, Anita. Okay, pause right there. Pause right there, guys. Okay, first of all, I'm not okay with that ad. I'm not okay with that fucking ad. And I'm gonna have to say this, because that is fucking bullshit. But I know, like, that's an old advertisement. I get it. It's funny. It's like, you don't want to play like a pussy, do ya? Like, you want to beat the game, don't ya? I mean, like, that was before we could just look up the answers on the internet. So you would have to come up with all the solutions yourself. So you don't want to play like a sissy. Like, you want to be a man and get the girl of your dreams, don't you? I mean, it only makes sense, but that fucking ad is like, wow. Imagine all the girls who wanted to play this game and it's like, do you want to play like a girl? I am a girl. Well, fuck you too then, like, nah.
Let's compare the damsel to the archetypal hero myth, in which a typically male character may occasionally also be harmed, incapacitated, or briefly imprisoned at some point during their journey. In these situations, the character relies on their intelligence, cunning, and skill to engineer their own escape.
The reason for this, in my opinion, is that you're playing as the male character. Now, how fucking boring would a game be if you would have to just sit in a prison waiting for someone to rescue you? How fucking boring of a game would that be? And when you play as a female lead character, which you haven't really talked about in this video because obviously it doesn't really fit into the entire scheme of things they're going for here, but it's the same for female characters. When you play as a female character, you don't wait around for a man to come and rescue you. Bitch, you get the fuck out of there yourself!
Consequently, the trope robs women in peril from the opportunity of being the architects of their own escape, and therefore prevents them from becoming archetypal heroes themselves.
These female heroes have their own place in their own game. Now, imagine playing a game where someone is kidnapped, say it's a woman, I don't care who it is. You get there, eventually, after dealing with a lot of shit, you're just like, oh fuck yes, I finally did it. I can save the love of my life, be a man or a woman or an elf or a dog. I don't care, but I get to save them. And they're not there. And it's like, oh shit, they already escaped. Well, what the fuck is this game about? What the fuck is this game? Why am I playing this shit? What the fuck?
The belief that women are somehow a naturally weaker gender is a deeply ingrained, socially constructed myth.
Okay, pause right there. Okay, pause right there, Anita. I already mentioned this. A myth? You're saying it's a myth that women are weaker than men. I mentioned before, when you were showing the Popeye clip, that Olga was really thin, really fragile looking woman. And that is the norm for most females. I mean, look at yourself, Anita. You don't have much muscle mass at all. And when it comes to physicality, mostly a female's body is weaker than a man's. That is a biological truth. It's not a myth. It's not a fucking myth. Look in the mirror, Anita. Do you see fucking bulging muscles in your arms like, I'm so fucking awesome. Like, I can beat up any guy in my way. No. You're weaker than a man. And you just gotta learn how to, like, you gotta learn to accept it. It is biological. It is natural. If you look in the freaking animal kingdom, look at it, lions, for example. Look at this fucking, this is a male lion. And this is a female lion. Do you notice the difference? Do you notice the difference between these two lions, Anita? and here's a man, and here's a woman. What do you see in common with these two pictures? Yeah, I thought so too. Okay, so I just finished watching the video of Anita Sarkeesian talking about the damsel in distress, and what really bothers me is that she didn't really give us a reason to why this trope is so harmful and so horrible. As for me, I don't see the problem with this trope. It's not like seeing some woman getting kidnapped in a video game makes me think, oh, all women are so fucking useless. No! That's totally not the case! Like, all sane people do not make that kind of freaking argument. So, I guess maybe you should think about what's going on inside your head, Anita, if you see something like that happen, instead of thinking, oh wow, that bad dude is really fucking, that's horrible, like why would he do that? Instead you're thinking, oh, this woman is made to look like she doesn't know what to do, like she's so vulnerable, and oh, it's so sad how, look at her, she is so fragile. No, that is not how normal people think.